Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. And today we have with us Matt LaClear, who's an expert in SEO and the founder of Your Ad Squad, LLC. Matt, welcome to the program.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for having me. I'm stoked to be here.
Yeah, I think that it's always interesting when you see someone's brief explanation of what they do. There's always something that comes to mind. And when I see SEO expert, I think that is not something you just like, hey, I got a degree in, and then that's it. This is something that you have to stay up to date on daily, it seems like, with just changes and new techniques. So I'm excited to learn from you. Tell us a little bit about your background and then what led you to form your company, Your Ad Squad.
Oh, well, thanks. First of all, to get good at SEO, you don't go get a degree somewhere. Beware of people with SEO degrees, because that's being taught by somebody who doesn't understand SEO. But I like to think of SEO as a dungeon. Once you get stuck in it, you realize you're not going to leave it. You might as well get good at it.
Yeah.
And because that's why I stuck with SEO. But long story short, I've been doing marketing since 1996. With Clinton was in office. It was forever ago, and it was. Country was different then, and the internet was just coming into place, and I jumped into email marketing and made a real big hit on it. And then I've switched over to Black Hat SEO in about 2007, and then for about 3 years, we built our agency up to a point where we had 12,000 customers. Wow. And we were running off a ticket system, a heft ticket system. We were spending $20 a month for, and we had tickets, and we had, it was great, and we could handle it. But when Penguin hit in 2012, all that changed. It was like junk backlinks for the thing of the past, and we had almost 6,000 of our customers lose their page one ranking overnight. And within a 60-day period of that, they had to lay off people. They had to shrink. They had to move back into their rental home, and it was like a shrinking process that shrunk my heart, if I can say that in a way. Because before that, I was the hero. I was the one that helped them move out of their rental house. I was the one, because everything was so easy with SEO back in those days. And we had rivers of testimonials, and I started believing the hype that I even had a convertible that I had a personalized license plate that said Mr. SEO on the back of it. That's how full of myself I was. But what happened was Penguin reset everything so you couldn't cheat your way onto the top of the rankings and stay there. So we had to learn how not to cheat. And that process took me about 5 years. And once I got to about 2015, I realized, hey, we're not going to trick Google anymore. So I really wasn't a wizard. I just got lucky, and I found a back door that you could get in and do cheap links, and it would work. And you pay $50, and you get a page one ranking overnight, and then it would work. But Google shut that door forever, and we had to learn not overnight, it took a long time, that, okay, if we're not going to fool Google, we have to start focusing on the user. And if we focus on the user and help them find what they want, Google's going to like our site more and build content for the user. And we became very user-centric at that point, because before SEO was a subset of technology. You just send out your messages or your links, and then those links would turn into page one rankings. And if you lost your rankings, you would just open up your software and hit another batch of links out, and then you could just keep doing that every time the rankings dropped. It was a subset of technology. But now it's a subset of the user, where what does the user want when they're searching something, when they're putting in that keyword, what are they finding, and what are they looking to find? And how can we use that information to give them what they're looking for, and then build a relationship with them so they fill out a lead magnet and have it be the right lead magnet that is in alignment with that search, what they're looking for, and then build a relationship from there. And that's just old-fashioned business development.
It is, and I think it's really interesting that even though we know what Google is doing now, and like you said, it's all about engagement signals. So like if someone searches something, what do they click and how long do they stay and all of that. I do feel, and I think you could probably give 10,000 examples, but one example comes to my mind where people still are trying to use technology and backdoors even to simulate that. And the thing that comes to mind is I remember seeing about, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, this new technology that simulates user engagement because using mobile signals. So let me tell you about, let me tell you this, and you can tell me like your impression, because I thought it was, I never did it, but I was so intrigued with the concept. This person, I don't even know who it was at all, but the concept was this person created this network of people's cell phones, mobile phones, and they would download this app, and then this little program would run in the background of their phone. Like every hour, their phone would do this search, and it would search for this certain keyword, and then it would scroll through and find this website and click on it as if a human did it through mobile, so that Google would see a mobile phone, did a mobile search for a keyword, found what they wanted, and clicked on this link, and that's the website you wanted to optimize for. And you had to agree, okay, you need to set up like 3 or 4 of your phones, and I don't care if they're throwaway phones, burners, family phones, it just kind of runs in the background. And I thought, that's really unique, but man, that just it seems like what a mess. But don't you agree that people still are going to find ways to try to use technology to simulate what humans should be doing anyway?
Oh, I 100% agree with that. And now I'll take it a step further, too. And we used to call those churn and burns campaigns, where the only people that would hire us to do black hat campaigns after Penguin, after 2012, all the way up to 2016, we'd get affiliates. Come in and say, listen, I don't care if this site gets penalized. I don't care. But if you can get me ranked for a month and I get the profits from that and I get ROI, I'll just do a new site every month. Now, that's churn and burn, because black hat looks to exploit a weakness. It's, hey guys, this window's open here in Google's warehouse. Let's all climb in. I got a ladder here. Give me $10 to let you climb my ladder. Well, the problem is Google gets very good at stopping the masses. So if you want to be good at black hat, you have to be better than 95% of everybody else. And that's really hard to do, because there's smart people doing black hat stuff all the time. Because then if you get caught, get kicked out of the warehouse, well, that site is never going to be able to allow them to get back into their warehouse again. And it's going to be black hat. And it's going to be toxic. And Google says, listen, we're not going to rank it. You cheated, and you can't come here anymore. So you have to create another website, and then Google doesn't know, and you go on. But if it's a brand, if it's somebody who cares about their brand, that's going to decimate their brand. And so that's why you have to focus on, instead of trying to fool Google into believing, hey, I really do have users on my site and they really like it, why not make the site so users really do like it? Because when you do that, you'll start making more conversions and your rankings will go up, because Google then likes your site, not because they're in love with your site, but they want to provide what their users are looking for. And if you provide something that your users like, that means you're taking care of their customers. That means they can keep displaying their ads, and that means they can stay in business. So that's all. We give them what they want. And what does Google want? They want happy users that are finding good content. And if we can provide that, well, now we got Google working for us, rather than trying to find us and hide us and constantly looking and hiding under shelves and stuff while the guard walks by.
So let's talk about what the buyer wants, and we could probably spend 19 episodes on this one concept. but what, in a nutshell, I would say, when you as a brand or a company knows exactly the solution to the problem that your target audience has, then you can speak confidently and clearly about it with some good content, whatever that looks like. Great blog posts, great YouTube videos that you transcribe, put on your blog, embed, keeping people on the page, all of that stuff. So let's just assume for a moment that a company knows how to, provide good content that's relevant, that is helpful, some good how-tos, some good research-based content. Where are some good places now that a business can go and look for some good quality backlinks to get their content on?
All right. Well, that's a two-part question. First of all, to figure out what the user, you have to get inside of the mind of the user. Like when they're searching red apples, what are they looking for red apples for? Are they looking to make an apple pie? Are they looking to do a baba? Are they want to make candy apples? So some keywords will have multiple people searching them for different reasons. Those are keywords you would stay away from. You want to focus on keywords where you know the intent of the users. So you would focus on the keyword, like if you're an apple pie salesperson, you would red apples for apple pies.
Yeah.
And that one, now you know that anybody searching the red apples for apple pies is somebody looking to make a pie, and you can help that person out. Now what you do is you take the keyword, you think, okay, that passes my test, and it makes sense that that's what the user's looking for. Then you just go over to Google and see what's currently ranking for that keyword. Yeah. Google wants to make people happy. They know what the intent of the user is when they search red apples for apple pie or whatever it is for pie. And as they get in there, what I would do is I would look and see what's ranking, what's the angle of each of those 10 or 8 sites that are already on page 1, then look to see what lead magnet was being offered for each of those, because that gives you like the next step in the relationship. So what are the competitors who are ranking for that? How are they building off that intent to go further into the relationship? So once you figure out what your competitors are doing and that your keyword, and say, okay, so it's apple pie recipes. If they're searching for red apples, maybe they're looking for apples, maybe they're looking for recipes, but you determine which is which by just seeing who's currently ranking for, because Google knows what the intent of that searcher is. They just know it. It's just they have the data to understand what people are wanting when they search. Because like you said earlier, if you click a site from Google and you end up on their site, well, you're there and you get to stay there. Yeah. But then if you come back, well, Google knows you didn't like that site, and they keep track of that. And so they know what people's intent are when they search it. So it's just a matter of doing your research there, looking what's currently ranking for. Then it's really easy to find the right backlinks. What I do is I just get the top 50 sites that are in my industry that I want, or a client's industry that I want to link to my site. These are people that I would build relationships with even if Google didn't exist. In other words, my end user is already on their website in large numbers, and I build a relationship with them so I can get that site owner to click over to my site so I can get them over to my site. Those are the links that I would build. And when they see that you have content that takes care of users and search intent, they link to it because it benefits them to link to it. And then you keep that relationship going. You don't just get one link from them. You build a relationship up. It's just business development. Get a second link, then maybe get in their newsletter. Now you're on their YouTube channel. Now they're sending you referrals. So you get 9 or 10 links from them, and you build that relationship up. I call that golden prospect marketing, it's great for links. It's great for referrals. And since you're being limited with your time, you spend you can spend more effort on the prospects. If you have a big list of prospects you're going after, you can't build relationships with them. But if you only have 50, that's easy. You have more time to spend with them.
Well,
so that's what I would do for links.
You made a really good point that I want to make sure that we bring to light, which is you should be doing that anyway, even if you're not looking for Google rank. So if you find, let's just pick the number 5 or 10, whatever, the top 10 strategic alliances that already have the know, like, and trust with your target audience. You would love to be invited to come to their corporate headquarters and do a presentation, but in the world of digital today, that might not be feasible. So how can you get their attention to speak with them about doing some type of business? And literally, I was at a client's office yesterday and sitting down with the CEO, and I had reached out the week before to one of their strategic alliances and just said, hey, we haven't connected in a while. Let's set up a call with the CEO and just kind of talk shop. And both we're just all three just on this call, and I ended it with going, hey, you know what? We don't do the same things as each other, but we've got the same target audience. Do you think you could provide some good content about what you do, and we'll put it on our site and link back to yours, and we could do the same at yours? And it was like, oh, of course. Well, that's not a blast email. That's not a software. That takes what? Oh, yeah, effort and a conversation and time, but that's what's going to pay off, because it might not be the only result of being a Google link. It might be that person driving down the road one day, getting a phone call going, oh, funny you should call today because I've got just the guy to refer you to. It might be a real-time offline referral. So that's a big, big point you brought up.
Oh, absolutely. It's business development. It's not technology.
Yep.
It's not even digital marketing. It's a subset of business development. I'll give you a perfect example. When I needed leads for my agency a couple of years ago, I said, I need to find somebody who, I was in a dry spell because I was doing a lot of operation stuff and I wasn't doing marketing for a while. And then I had to jump back into marketing, and you know the game. And so I jumped back into marketing. I said, listen, I'm not going to go chase these prospects. I went and found a strategic partner. His name was Eric Ward, a.k.a. Link Moses. He was the #1 link builder in the world and link building expert. He's gone now, but he's still ranking #2 for link building expert, and he hasn't built links in 3 years because he's been gone. But long story short, I earned a link from him. I built a relationship with him, and within 9 months, he had referred almost $100,000 worth of business to me. And that was just for, then I got 9 links from him. I got mentioned in his newsletter. And when my book got mentioned into the newsletter, it went to #2 in my category. So it had a lot of benefits other than SEO.
Yes.
So if you've got those strategic alliances that you're going after, and it's easy, just follow them on Twitter, retweet their stuff, communicate with them. If they allow comments on their blogs, just talk to them on their blogs, opt into their list. Then do something even more. Reply to one of the emails.
Right.
And if they have an Amazon book, read it. Leave a review for it, because most people don't. And make sure it's your name or the person reaching out to them. Make sure it's their name. It doesn't take long for them to see your name 9 or 10 different times, and little things like that. Then you go in and make your ask. And it's usually you ask something for them, not for yourself.
100%, and I think we're going down a path of SEO that is so much deeper than just get some backlinks, and because I think this is really where it's at, is the result of building strategic alliances. Of course, will be a link between the two websites. But let me ask you something else, and this goes back to I believe the word is semantic, but let me explain what I'm thinking here, and you can correct me. Sometimes you don't even need an exact link from that person's site to your site. Am I correct in thinking that Google also sees when some searchers are looking for a phrase and they click on one of the top-rated websites? Let's call it whatever the top site is, and in that one of the articles on that site, your brand name is mentioned, and maybe your service name is mentioned, maybe not even linking, but Google sees that your content is embedded in or next to the content of someone else that's really well respected. Doesn't that have a benefit for your brand as well, even if there's not a link?
Yeah, absolutely. The link in itself isn't the litmus test. The link is just is like the barometer of a bunch of. They're just trying to get an idea for how much buzz a website has. They obviously, if somebody has great content, and the more buzz they have, people talking about them in the form of links, it's oh great, that's fantastic for SEO. We'll give them more links. But if like in what you're talking about, it happens in forums a lot for vendors, where there's people in forums talking about them but not linking to them. But it helps their rankings, because when Google sees that buzz, they consider that social proof for them. Not just a link. Now, is a mention worth more than a link? I have no idea. That's hard. That's almost impossible to measure. I would think it's less because it creates less effort. But then again, if somebody's talking about your business in a forum setting or on a popular website, or it's a blogger that Google trusts, that counts too. You're right.
I've heard it described like if I was walking down the street in a big city and I saw Matt LaClear sitting there with a celebrity movie star, and you're chit-chatting and high-fiving, I'd go, man, Matt's connected. And it's kind of, and you didn't even need to have a selfie taken or whatever. I would just see that. So it's kind of like you're positioned next to authorities that way. Okay, I thought of another question I want you to get your advice on too, because we're thinking about things that are not obvious, that are kind of below the surface, and that could be optimized. So what about images and pictures on a website? Most people just upload it and it's like image 1, image 2, or employees. Yeah. Well, how much power is it in making sure that each image in there, like the media part of your website, has the title with using keywords and the alt tag, so that Google sees if there's an image out there, they tie that to your website?
Well, for one, Google likes to see that because not all of their users who come to Google can see. Some are blind. So if you're just catering to sighted clients, maybe it's about playing baseball or how to improve your golf. But there's even blind people that play golf. So if Google sees that you are including the blind too into your content, they like that. So what I like to do is be able to tell the story with my alt tags and with not only my images, but also with the file names of my images.
Yeah.
And then what I'll do too, I'll do a Google search on the image, and like if I'm using the stock image, and if it shows, oh yeah, this has already been indexed, then I'll have my team play with it a little bit to get it original until Google does not recognize that image anymore, because now that's getting uploaded to my site and Google's accepting it as unique content.
Yeah.
But if it's just a bunch of, sometimes you can't use an image because it's used so much elsewhere, and you got to put a lot of wavy lines in it. It's no longer going to work for your user. But then you just bite the bullet. But yeah, alt tags, and not to go overboard. Include your keyword in the alt tags. Don't go too overboard with it and where it fits. But that's an old spam tactic too, is just to stuff the alt tags with your keyword and nothing else, and just put it everywhere. That's because you had to get as many mentions as a keyword on the page as possible. And that was just, hey, one more spot we can jam some keywords into. Let's do it.
But if your image had one of your keywords, and then the next image you had a different keyword, and the next image you had a different, if it's one, maybe two, then that shouldn't be a problem. But that's like 48.
Yeah, don't do 48. Don't do Don't do more than 20% of your pictures with any one keyword, because then it looks like it's stuffing.
Well, and here's another thought. I read this or pretty recently that and I don't know this, but is there a difference between going to, let's say in WordPress, your media page where all your images are, and going image by image by image and making sure and putting in, oh, here's the title of an image, here's one keyword for the image, okay, good, go to the next one, or making sure you go into the code to make sure the HTML code has like a alt tag coded into the HTML on the backside of it. Is that necessary, or is it just fine to have the alt tag and the title on the actual image in the media file?
Well, that's something that you would probably want to audit every few months. And we do full page audits, full site audits, where look at the actual code, because if you're using WordPress, sometimes the theme will update, and the code also that changes your site. And if you think you have it buttoned down, but you haven't gone back and checked out the code, maybe you did add the image tags and the alt tags properly inside of WordPress, but is it being translated by the theme properly into Google? So that's why I would say you get a coder and say, hey, check out if you can't do it yourself, and you find somebody Upwork, do it real quick. Make sure all my images are tagged right and all that stuff, and just have that part as an audit. If the site's not very large, like under 30 pages, that shouldn't cost any more than $50 to $75 a quarter. But you're right. Just because it says that if you put the tag in, doesn't mean it's showing up right anywhere else.
Yeah. Good. Well, thank you. That's really good advice. Let's wrap up with what is one of the biggest things that you do to help a business. Why does your phone ring? Your email? Why do people come to you? And then what's the best way that people can reach out and connect with your company and maybe get an audit to see what you can do to help them out?
Oh, that's great. One of the things that sets us apart from other agencies is we view agencies' work as just building a relationship up between businesses in the form of links and then the form of referrals. And if we're going to build relationships up with somebody and go through the effort, it might as well be the biggest people in your industry, because those are the people that are going to give you the quickest return. They're the people in a position who are able to help you grow your business the fastest. We build relationships with those people between our clients and and their golden prospects in the form of links, in the form of referrals. And then we look for low-hanging fruit on people's websites to get them an immediate return on their. Sometimes we can find an immediate return on their investment just from sites that are on page. They're ranking on page 2 or the bottom of page 1. We make tweaks to get the money coming in quickly. So we're good at finding the ROI, and we're good at going after those big prospects. If anybody's interested in working with us, we're at yourseosquad.com. If I also have free training, anybody that wants to learn how to go after golden prospects, like I said, people in your industry and build relationships with them. I have a course that I was charging $2,000 for. It's free now on my site. You don't even have to opt in to get it. You go to yourseosquad.com, scroll down to the bottom in the footer, and I have a link building mastery courses there. And it's everything, how to go up to giants and get them to link to you from scratch. So that they can get to those videos too for free right there on the site.
Awesome. That is really great. Well, Matt, thank you so much for your time today. It was really great talking shop with you, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you for coming on.
I appreciate it. I'm stoked to be here. Thanks.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneurssradio.com.